Hey everybody, Robin here with Oracle Rising. How's it going? Thanks for joining me today. I have this topic I wanted to talk about, and I probably made a few of these points before, but they bear repeating. And I wanted to talk about bad habits for you to break as you climb on your ascension path, and just in general. Even if you're not trying to reach a certain level of ascension or move to 4 or 5D reality, these are still kind of, you know, bad habits. Of course, every time I say something, I think of a song. I don't. Does anybody know the band Angel City? I listened to them when I was like 16 years old, and they had this song called Bad Habits, and it was pretty fun. But anyway, these are 10 things to give up in your life so that you can be at your best possible resonance in vibration. So, self-doubt. Okay, so self-doubt's going to come creeping in, right? You're going to have doubts, but some people are absolutely paralyzed by them, and they let these doubts come in to the point where they just don't do anything. They don't follow their dream. They don't ask a person out. They don't apply for a job. They freeze up in interviews. You're basically the magician of your life, so you can do anything you want to. We are here as co-creators in spirit, and anything that you want to do, you can do. Like if you are suffering in self-doubt, please turn your attention to what other people in the world are doing, and they might not be the nicest person or any other what we would call glowing attributes. People are incredibly successful, and it's because they want it to be. All you have to do is decide to do something, and then take tiny actions every day and start congratulating yourself for the forward movement that you are taking. And not enough people do that. I was sitting and thinking yesterday. I was sitting outside with Lacey, and it's been about 2 years since I started on YouTube, maybe 2 years and a little bit on my other channel. And I was like, wow, I've come so far. I was actually watching an older video that I did, and it was just, it just isn't the same as what I'm doing now. Like, I think I provide higher quality content right now, but and I was looking at it and I was like, wow, I'm proud of myself. Okay, so, and there was something, I had one question when I was guided to do this, to start doing tarot, and then the tarot channel, and then I was guided to start this channel, and I was like, really? Okay. And then I just started doing it, and I never doubted myself. So I want to give you guys like the utmost encouragement that anything that you see, you are able to do or have. So really just follow your dreams, and tell that other guy that is chirping at you, he can go like zip it somewhere, right? So oh boy, this is a huge one, and I talk about it a lot because it is also incredibly important. And this is negative thinking, and this is negative thinking about everything. And what's this name of the movie? There's a movie that covered this. It's called Numb. You might want to check it out. It's pretty interesting. This guy, all he does is think negative thoughts, and he goes to see a shrink or something like that, and she gives him a clicker. So he has to sit and click his every time he has a negative thought, he clicks it, and he just becomes like overwhelmingly aware of, wow, how negative his train of thought is. So there's an exercise that it's very challenging to go 30 days without thinking a negative thought. And if you do, then you have to go back to day 1 and start over again. So you might want to challenge yourself to be more aware of negative thoughts, and try that 30-day challenge. It's really difficult. I used to be a pretty harsh critic, so old habits die hard, right? So I sometimes catch myself and I'm like, whoops, I still have not been able to make a 30-day stretch without a negative thought, whether it be about myself or the weather or a particularly annoying person, or, whatever, just so try that, or get one of those clickers, and you'll be like, wow, all of a sudden you'll be super aware of like what is going on in your brain, and it's not always a pretty sight. So check it out. All right, so I had a really bad case of this one too. People pleasing. I grew up with a very demanding set of parents, and they always made me feel that I wasn't good enough. So I spent a long part of my life like really like bending over backwards to please other people, even if they weren't making any efforts with me, because I didn't know any other way to do it. So really monitor that in your life, you guys. And I think it's all, I'm going to say, fine and dandy. I think it's a good thing to do if you're reciprocating, if you have a reciprocation of this, sort of people pleasing with your friends or, your partner. And then it's not just a bad habit, but going out of your way to help people out that they don't care about you, or you're doing it to make people think more highly of you, then that's not charity. There's something else driving it, so that needs to be addressed, and it's usually some sort of insecurity or fear of losing somebody. But if you're the only one putting work into any type of situation or relationship, then what are you doing? That's probably something from your childhood, so that you need to look at that and what is making you like move into that kind of a behavior pattern. So it's kind of scary. Sometimes, okay, can't read my own writing, right? So excessive anything is the fourth thing I have here. So there's this saying, everything in moderation, okay? And it really makes sense. You see people, I live in a city where our downtown it's a disaster, okay? And there's a lot of, and I'm sure everybody's downtown is like this, but it can be really depressing going out and seeing people, they're stumbling drunk and it's 9 o'clock in the morning. And of course, obviously there's something driving that, but whatever. Or seeing casinos that are just filled right up to the rafters, or, people, and let me know if you've seen this one, people standing outside of their hospital with their oxygen tank having a cigarette. There's something wrong with that picture. It's time to quit smoking if you have an oxygen mask strapped to your body. So just excessive anything, because it becomes an obsession. So really just pace yourself on things. And this is, the excessive negative thinking or the excessive self-doubt or whatever it is that could be developed as a behavior pattern to escape a different reality. Okay, so, criticism. We are not critics. We don't get paid to criticize people, places, things, movies. If you're a movie critic, this one is not for you. But, oh man, when I think about the negative environment that I grew up in, it was just, and I developed a lot of really bad habits, and criticism was one of them that I had to outgrow. It was like, as soon as somebody left the room in our family, the rest of the people were talking about them. And just, complaining about everything. And it's horrible. I became really aware of what I was like when I was sitting with somebody, and she was very harsh, and we were in a restaurant and she was just complaining about everything. And I said to one of my other girlfriends after that, I was like, do I sound like that? She goes, oh no, you're worse. And I was like, oh my God, so I just immediately took some action to become a little bit kinder, because I was appalled. I couldn't just equate myself to that kind of behavior anymore. So it takes a lot of self-discipline and self-observation and self-realization to start changing things that you find appalling in other people. And that's a certain kind of hypocrisy if you do things that other people do that bother you, but you're like, well, it's different because it's me. It's not, okay? Snap out of it. Snap out of it. I guess that's my share impression. Anyway, so fearing success. I really believe that this is something that is trained into people, because there's a certain class of people that don't want everybody else to be successful. You can see that in our society right now, just the gap in wealth distribution, the privileges that the government gives themselves, one percenters that they could just open up their bank account and solve all the world's problems. They don't, because they're money hoarders. So you grow up fearing success, probably because that's what other people want you to do. And some people fear success because they give themselves all these ridiculous reasons, and maybe they're afraid of losing friends, or I don't know. What's your fear? Why are you afraid of success? I mean, success feels pretty good. I like it. I like to have a job well done. I'm really proud of myself. So fearing success is a widespread phenomenon. This is why people hold themselves back. It really ties into this self-doubt thing. So, you might want to just start listening to success affirmations and, clearing your negative karma and really just start doing the work on yourself so that you can be the best version of yourself and feel great, because then you go into this self-criticism thing and it's just a monster, and it goes around and around and around. Here's my little note page. So sloth, not the animal. This is people that just absolutely flake out and do nothing. If you guys seen the movie Seven with Brad Pitt, there was somebody in that movie, it was about the 7 deadly sins and they addressed sloth and it was pretty bad, but there's some people that they just don't do anything. They just basically sit there and there's always something deeper to that, right? So I'm not trying to pick on people because I've been through my own periods where I was not this version of myself, so I totally get it, but there's something there. So if you see somebody or you are somebody that just kind of sits there and does nothing or just very lazy or expect everybody else to do things for you, you got to start looking at yourself. And this could really trigger a dark night of the soul for you, where you start to come into this path of self-realization and go, oh, okay, well, that's why I did that. And maybe I need to forgive somebody or, never speak to somebody again or whatever it is. Sloth, I think, is really unattractive. And I can be really lazy sometimes, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I've ever been guilty of sloth. Procrastination. Oh, who does this? Hello. You know what? And sometimes I think I have a really good reason because I think I've mentioned how cold it gets where I live. So, if it's minus 40, I'm not going to the grocery store. I'm going to put that off. But there's people that keep on putting off and putting off and putting off, until things eventually fall off your to-do list. So I think it's a really great idea to set deadlines for yourself. This should be done by this day, and if I can't get it done, maybe I need some help. Maybe I need to pay somebody to come in and help or whatever. But procrastination, it's so annoying. And of course, I just think of my boys right away when they used to live at home and they were just yeah, I'll get that done tomorrow. And it's so frustrating because I was a single parent. So if they didn't pull their weight, especially when they turned into teenagers and they were adults living at home, it was very difficult for me because then I was carrying the weight for 3 people. And, maybe I made some snarky comments sometimes at the top of my lungs. So you have to really look at how you're impacting other people with these things too, or how, if somebody else in your life is displaying these tendencies, you can probably approach them and say, hey, it's time to work on this together, right? Because I'm going to snap over here, yo. Destructive relationships, which were absolutely my favorite for a long time. And I didn't know why. I did not understand why, and this was basically related to my romantic relationships. I was always going after the wrong guy, and then I would be very distraught when it didn't work out. And when I say wrong guy, it was usually somebody with an addiction, and they were generally very physically abusive, and emotionally unavailable. So I mean, if you were that guy, I mean, you were probably for me. So that's why I stopped dating. And that's why I've been single for a long time, because I grew to understand that the problem was not external, it was internal. And I was attracting that kind of relationship because it satisfied some sort of schism from childhood. And again, I had to really work on that. And destructive relationships can be any relationship. It can be with your parents, it can be with your kids, your siblings, So it's time to snip those and just get rid of them. They're not serving you. And, they're destructive. It's called a destructive relationship for a reason. It's not just a cute name. So look at your relationships and see what you can either fix or eliminate. This one is huge. This is the 10th and last point that I have for you. I'm just going to take a teensy sip of tea. Minimizing yourself. So this is where you don't give yourself full credit to yourself and other people. People say, oh, you look really good today. Oh, no, and just kind of like withering. No, I couldn't possibly. These are things that you should be saying to yourself. I look good today. Now, I'm amazing. I did that so well. I'm such a good dancer, singer, baker, homemaker. These are things that you should be pumping yourself up with, instead of, like, oh, I'm just blasé and, not accepting compliments and, pushing for yourself in work environments, in your relationships. I deserve this. I work super hard. I'm amazing. I'm, 18 bags of chips. You know what I mean? And just, you can see this with people, oh, I just really love your outfit. Oh, it's nothing. Start taking credit for how amazing you are, you guys. I cannot emphasize that enough. And that's something I did for a long time too. I was always, oh no, oh me, oh, I do declare, so, and now I'm not that way anymore. I really, grew a lot in the past 8 to 10 years, pretty much unrecognizable to a lot of people, and that's okay with me. So, I'm here to extend all these points and comments and a bit of my background to you guys. So hopefully to help you stand up and stand into your power. And it's a really cool thing to do, you guys, is, and I got this off of Grey's Anatomy. It was Amelia, where she goes into surgeries and she stands up and like she tilts her chin up high and puts her shoulders back and she puts her hands on her hips like a superhero pose. Try doing that. If you're in a place where you're not feeling positive about yourself, or you're not taking compliments or sticking up for yourself in relationships, start doing that for 10, 15 minutes a day, or 60 seconds or whatever you've got, and start saying that you believe in yourself. Start just really being your own champion, being your own hero, because you're amazing, you guys, each and every one of you. And I just wanted to share that with you so that you guys can start to step into your own power and everything that you are so worthy of. So I'm going to go for now and just wish you guys love and many blessings and a few kisses for you. So I'll see you around the way. Bye.